everybody, this is Robert. Hello everybody, this is Robert and this is English 360, and I'm so happy that I am doing this video because this is not a normal video where I talk about exams, and exams can be a bit boring, but this is a video about how to learn a few expressions. So I've gone live exactly 6 minutes before the time, because I was ready. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go live earlier and you guys can catch up later on. So here we are, and I'm ready to go. So many of the students or many of the people who go to England or they're watching TV series, they always come across these expressions that they don't know. And many of these are very common in wherever you are in the UK or US. And I have to say that if you go to the UK, you will find certain types of expressions. In the US, you will find other kinds of expressions. So let's start. You know, when you go to a party and you're having great fun, you say, yeah, I'm having great fun. But you can also say that I'm having a whale of a time. So this is when you are having great fun. You can say I'm having a whale of a time. Have you ever seen a whale up close? Oh, by the way, before I forget, this video will be automatically added to our podcast. So if you like listening to podcasts, I will leave a link in the description in about a couple of hours time, maybe 3, or maybe tomorrow morning. So this is 17th of March, I believe. So let me just double check. It is, So you will find it max by 17th of March morning. So I'll leave the link to the podcast in the description. So as I was saying, you can say I'm having a whale of a time. A whale is a very big animal. If you've ever seen a whale, you will realize how big it is. So when you say to someone, I'm having a whale of a time, it means that you're really, really having fun. So that's why we say I'm having a whale of a time. So that's incredible, right? Because you can use animals to help you speak properly. How about that? Do you have an expression like that in your language, by the way? If you don't, never mind. You can use this one. Nobody is actually gonna mind that, are they? So the next one is to hit it off with someone. You know, when you go to a party or you are in a cafe or a bar, or I don't know, you're in a park, or you're just having a chat with somebody at university. And you ask questions like, hello, how are you? Where are you from? Ooh, that's nice. Have you been here long? If the person is foreigner. Otherwise, you will say, oh, you're from Rome too. Me too. Or you're from Paris. Me too. How fantastic. So if you are very interested in a person, you will hit it off with them. So the expression is to hit it off with someone. It means you automatically, instantaneously love the way they are, and you want to be with them, either because you want to be their friends or you want to be something more. So if you want to be something more, then you are on the right track, because if you hit it off with someone, then that means that you are really, really happy with them. So you're a perfect match. So just a reminder, I will leave the expressions in the descriptions, so you can click on the link and download them. So this will happen tomorrow morning as well, because as it is now, it's evening. By the time I get home, it will be late. My family will not allow me to work. As you know how it is with the family, it's only fair to respect the certain timings, right? So if you have a family, or if you are with your parents, you will know what I'm talking about. So also, there are football matches this evening that I would probably like to watch. Okay, so there is another expression that I would like to say today, which is live it up. So that means to have great fun doing something. So if you're living it up, That means that you are having fun, you're successful, and you're having a whale of a time. So you can talk about your friend. You can say, where is, if somebody asks you, where is, Tom, Dick, and Harry, or whoever, you will say, well, he's having, he's in LA, he's living it up there because he's found a job and he's settled down and he's really having the time of his life. That's another word. Another expression that we use here is to have a ball. Have a ball. That's more American, actually. So it sounds strange if I say it in the British accent. So having a ball meaning having great time, like time of your life. So these are the expressions you can use when you're talking about having fun or having a good time, or just simply enjoying your life. And that does not happen very often, I'm afraid, because people are suffering at the moment because of the damn COVID, and the people themselves who don't who are not careful enough, unfortunately, and they keep relaxing and lowering their guard, and everybody gets infected again, and we are in a lockdown again. So here we go. So there are some expressions you can use if you're talking about the fact that you're not feeling well. You can say, those mornings that you get up, your body's not right, you're feeling as though you are in English we say under the weather. That means that you're not feeling that good. You probably have a bit of a fever, or if not, you're feeling a bit sick, or if not, you got bones ache, or if not, you've got something else going wrong with your body. Something is going wrong, right? So in that case, we will say that you are under the weather. I'm feeling under the weather. That's the expression. Very often I wake up on a Sunday morning, I'm a bit under the weather. And what do you do when you're feeling under the weather? Do you go back to bed? Do you fight it? Do you take something like a medicine or something, and you pop it in your mouth? What do you do? I can tell you what I do. If I'm feeling under the weather, I probably have a coffee, because normally I don't drink coffee. Okay, I've given up coffee. But if I'm feeling under the weather, then I will allow myself 1 cup. So that will instantaneously boost me up. It will give me a big boost, morale boost as well. Also, what I'll do is I'll pop something in my mouth, which is something that I like. So normally I don't have breakfast. I have like early dinner, and then I have lunch, or maybe I'll just skip lunch as well. So I don't have breakfast, but if I'm feeling, a bit down, under the weather, then I will definitely eat something. So that will give me, that kind of energy that you don't normally have, the sugar energy. So that's something. Then there is another expression that we use sometimes, which is very common in the UK, not so much in the US, I believe. But I may be wrong, so if there is any US listener who is listening to this, please correct me if I'm wrong. It is down in the dumps. Down in the dumps. It means that you are ready to be taken off. You are totally out of energy. You can't take it anymore. You've had it. You've had your tough day. And what you want to do now is go home and literally, get out of the public view. So that's when you say you're down in the dumps. I think it might come from the German or the Dutch expression, which is domp, which means like mental, haze, that you're mentally confused. You don't know what's going on, so you say, I'm down in the dumps, meaning, I'm like, I'm tired, I want to go home. I've had it, I don't want to do it anymore. So if, for example, somebody says to you, why are you going home so early? You can say, look, I feel I'm down in the dumps. I'm going to call it a day, which means that's it for me. I'm going home. I'm going to call it a day. So that's one way of saying that. So when you often suffer from something, there are people who suffer from chronic migraines. My mother-in-law does, as a matter of fact, poor her. There are people who suffer from other things like stomach upsets, and I have something. I have an experience I would like to share about that. So if you suffer from something quite regularly, we say you're a martyr to something. Martyr are those people who die in a holy battle, and St. Peter's was a martyr because I believe he was killed by the Romans. So you can say, I'm a martyr to migraines. I'm a martyr to stomachache. I'm a martyr to, I don't know, some other chronic problem. Okay, so that's used, especially when you're talking about not being afflicted by something a lot. Now, this is definitely applied to people who drink too much. When you drink too much, what you get is a hangover. So when you get a hangover, it's, for example, something that look, I've never had a hangover, so I don't know what it feels like, but I can tell you that my friends tell me that it's a pounding headache in the morning. You can't get up from bed, and etc. etc. You're in a bad state. So in English, you can say I'm hanging. That means I have a hangover. If somebody calls you and you have a hangover, and they say, how are you? And say, look, I'm hanging now. I'm suffering. Okay, so that means I've drunk too much. Maybe next time, just a little bit less. Just to make it, because drinking is fun, but if it goes over the top, it just isn't fun anymore. It becomes a pain in the neck. A pain in the neck is something which is annoying, bothering. So when you are sick, you can say I'm laid up, L-A-I-D, up, which means that you are forced to stay in bed. So if you have flu, or God forbid, if you have COVID or some other illness, and you're in bed, and your employer, who gives you the job, who's giving you your sustenance, calls you and say, why aren't you showing up at work? Well, you can say, I am laid up. I'm laid up because I have flu, or because of an illness, or because of flu, whatever you want to say. So he will then understand, or she will then understand, because employer can be both women and men, right? Why do we want them to be men all the time? So they will definitely say, I'm laid up. They will understand. They will understand what it means. Next one is to be out of sorts. So out of sorts is when you are feeling a bit lost, a bit tired, you don't know what you want to do, and in English, the best expression for that is to be out of sorts. Now, that sometimes happens to me, not often, but it does happen to me. And when you are like at the end of the day, and you've just been working literally non-stop, and you don't know where you are. Sometimes you don't know what day it is, and you just want a holiday. So you can say that I feel out of sorts. I'm unhappy, I want to change. So as you notice, these are all expressions which differ. They're all expressions about people not feeling well, but for different reasons. And if you are a C1, or if you're a high-level student, if you want to express yourself with more command, with more naturalness and idioms, and sound a bit more authentic, then you want to be using some of these expressions. So when you are when you go on a boat, I've been on a boat, okay, so it's some years ago. It was quite hot, and I was very much into diving. Now, for those of you who don't know what diving is, it's when you get a tank on your back, you have a snorkel, or like a mouthpiece regulator, they call it, and you go deep sea diving, okay? So you go deep, and you have oxygen to breathe. Otherwise, you would be dead. And a dead diver is a no good diver, right? So you're deep down, you look around, you look at all the fish and blah, blah, blah. If there is any fish, by the way, because they're disappearing. But anyway, so you come back up and you go back onto the boat, you take all your equipment off, and you're like, wow, that was a fantastic holiday. Rather, if it was a holiday, fine. If it wasn't a holiday, you can say it was a fantastic dive, right? So that's what I did. I went down. I was all with all my mates. I saw some barracudas. I saw a shark. Lovely jubbly. So then when I went back up to the boat, it was extremely hot because obviously it was summer, right? And there wasn't enough shade in the boat for everyone. So it was literally, half the boat was in the sun, half the boat was in the shade. And guess where I ended up? In the sun. So when I got back home, my wife said to me, "You look green around the gills." To look green around the gills means that you look pale, you look sick, and you look you look as though something bad has happened. Green around the gills. Gills are the little things that the fish have on the side of their ears, which open and they close. And basically, that's how they breathe, right? And if a fish has gone bad, if you're in a fishmonger, if you're at a fishmonger or in a fish market, you want to make sure that the fish is not green around there, because unless the fish is green, in that case, it's fine, right? But if the fish is green around the gills, then that means that it's not good to eat. So that's where the expression comes from. It's a humorous expression. It makes you laugh when you say you look green around the gills. Okay, so we're coming towards the end. We have another 2 to go, so bear with me. One is catch your death of cold. Now, to catch a very bad cold means to catch a very bad cold. So, for example, if your clothes are wet and it's winter and you're outside, your mate will say to you, "You will catch your death of cold." That means that you will catch a very bad cold. Catch your death of cold. You can probably guess what it means, right, from the sentence. So this is very apt because especially fishermen who go out, they get wet and they're in the wind, and in Britain it's freezing cold and people don't want to be fishermen anymore. I understand that. So that's why you use the expression. You'll catch your death of cold. The last one is to be off your food because you're ill, because you're sick, and you don't like the way you are, or you don't feel like eating anything. You will say, "I'm off my food," which means I am too sick to eat. I feel nauseous, for example, you can say. So here we are. Here are some really good expressions that you can probably think about, and if you want to use in your conversation. One thing about language is it's something living. You can learn the grammar as much as you like. You can learn the rules. You can learn all the different things, but you need to learn the way people speak, which has very little to do with grammar, has a lot more to do with tradition, culture, and an expression like the one that I told you earlier, to be green around the gills. It has no grammatical importance. You don't learn any grammar by learning this expression, but you do learn the way people express themselves, and by speaking like the mother tongues, you can learn to become more authentic, as a word I used earlier, but also feel more confident about yourself. So whenever you're learning a language, it can be French, English, Japanese, whatever, Chinese, you have to make an effort to learn expressions, sayings, idioms, figures of speech, similes. For example, as good as gold, as straight as rain. These are similes that we use all the time in English, and it's a shame that we don't teach them as teachers. So that's what I try to do to my students. I tell them, look, if you use a simile, you're going to sound very good. You know, my students tend to appreciate that. So let me know what you think. So this video is then going to be uploaded to a podcast as well, if you want to, by any chance, listen to it again, or perhaps share it with your friends if you think this video was interesting. I will leave the link to our online learning website, where you can see different courses, some of which are free, some are not, and other information that you might find useful. So have a great rest of the evening, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment if you did, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks very much for your time, and see you soon. Bye for now. Peace.